Eric Casebolt tendered his resignation as a police officer with the City of McKinney effective yesterday. He did so with a heavy heart, knowing that his resignation was not only in his best interest, but also that of his fellow police officers and the City of McKinney, Texas. It is his hope that his resignation will facilitate the cooperative relationship between the citizens and the police officers of the City of McKinney.
There's no winning with this commentary. No way this one is going to escape scrutiny of the experts and those who believe every white cop hates every black person, especially those of a certain age. No way it will change the mind of those who know beyond the shadow of any doubt or any reason that every time anyone, puts on a uniform, they are determined to break arms and bash a few heads just to keep their male and female macho alive.
The video that everyone has seen only depicts a small part of Eric's actions that day at the Craig Ranch neighborhood in McKinney, Texas. Eric was assigned the evening shift that day and began working at 6 p.m. His first call was a suicide at an apartment complex where an African-American male had shot himself in the head at a poolside in the apartment complex. The male had done so in the presence of his family, his children, other parents, and children. Eric assisted the officers, the McKinney officers who responded. He assisted them in securing the scene, photographing the body, and collecting statements. Eric also spent a considerable amount of time consoling the man's grieving widow.
There will also be no changing the mind of those, the majority sad to say, who have yet to neither discuss nor bring into the conversation of what happened in McKinney as being partly the blame of the kids on hand. Those innocent, wide-eyed darlings who, according to eyewitnesses, were involved in fistfights, answered calls for them to leave the pool area with profanity, racial epithets of their own, and alleged threats of violence. And when the cops were called to the scene, responded with the usual teenage and young adult arrogance of in-your-face retorts to calls for them to either leave the area or put their butts on the ground. The same kind of punk attitude taught to them by parents, siblings, social media, teachers, dead-headed entertainers, clown car celebrities, phony clergy, and the rest who believe they have a right to abuse civil rights by denying the same to others.
Immediately thereafter, he responded to a second suicide call. This one was involving a teenage girl who was threatening to commit suicide by jumping off of her parents' roof. Eric assisted by calming the girl enough so that she could be transported safely to the hospital. Eric's compassion during these two incidences are a testament to his character and all of the officers who work for the McKinney Police Department. The nature of these two suicide calls took an emotional toll on Eric Casebolt. They serve as a reminder that while police work is often dangerous, it is fraught with emotions and family tragedy.
And even if the story presented here by a lawyer is proven factual, it will be shoveled aside as just another racist cop trying to protect his pension and prove what everyone knows is true. This is nothing more than legal babble to evoke sympathy and tears for the guy who was immediately scapegoated by his superiors in order to avoid visits from the Sharptons and Reverend Jacksons of the world.
His efforts to gather information was hampered by some teenagers who were instructing others to defy police instructions. With all that had happened that day, he allowed his emotions to get the better of him. Eric regrets that his conduct portrayed him in his department in a negative light. He never intended to mistreat anyone, but was only reacting to a situation and the challenges that it presented. He apologizes to all who were offended.
Maybe someday we'll get the entire truth. Maybe someday we'll not have to suffer the steaming pile from those who can't wait to start a fight and make it always about race. But lately, I fear it will not be in my lifetime. That's my opinion, telling it like it is. Now you tell me your opinion on this one. Basically speaking, is this a cop trying to hide? Is this a cop telling the truth? And it's more about that. It's more about whether or not we will ever be able to discuss something like this without bringing race into it as an immediate reaction and an immediate part of the fight. Rock on, true believers. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here Friday on the fastest 60 minutes in news.